Hello, René here. Today I have two real monsters by my side. This one looks intimidating straight away. This one seems to be harmless, but it might be a killer in disguise. In this video, it will fight to the death against a third monster, a 50-kilogram dinosaur called Acoustic Solid Royal. If the CS100 is a wolf in sheep's clothing is not yet clear at the beginning of this review, but its fur looks kind of innocent, and you can call the design unpretentious or elegant versus boring and uninspired. The rear panel offers a paradise of possibilities. You have balanced and unbalanced terminals, but for special purposes you can also go out digitally via AS-EBU. In addition, you have coaxial and optical outputs. The biggest treat, however, are the three digital inputs. The USB 2.0, which allows you to stream from your computer, the coaxial port maybe to pop in a digital audio player, and through the optical input you might want to connect your TV here if the DAC in your AV amplifier sucks, so you can listen to the TV sound over your much better hi-fi gear, at least until you opt for a standalone DAC later on in the course of your hi-fi journey. The German magazine Stereo conceded a sound quality level of 83% to the device and awarded 4 stars for its price-performance ratio. A plausible explanation for the good sound could be the implementation of 5 tubes, 4 6922 and 1 12 DT5 pentode for voltage stabilization. And besides that, the technical internal life looks elaborate, ingenious, and impressive. But Cayin seems to make highly disappointing cuts with the quality of less important parts. Successively, I was confronted with a broken lid of the optical input, a broken RCA connection, a ruined rubber part of the CD tray, which of course did not slide out anymore, and also on my CS6PH phono preamp, an RCA port was loose after a few changes of the interconnects. Luckily, I could fix that by my own, but such things should not happen with devices in this price range. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty, to the listening test. I concentrated on 3 different genres and types of sound. The first round was classical music. In order to challenge the devices, I chose a concert for double bass, Johann Baptist van Hals concert in D major for chamber orchestra and contrabass, recorded in 1976 with the Innsbruck Chamber Orchestra under Erich Urbaner, on bass Ludwig Streicher. Teldec reissued a recording in 1988 on a CD. What could we be apprehensive of? An orchestral sound with digital glare, an edgy double bass with an electronic taint on a thin slice of the stage, cut out from the complete loof? Far from it. Note by note, everything sounded identical. My ears were not able to squeeze out the tiniest differences, neither from the orchestra nor from the solo instruments. The musicians stood in the very same spots of the stage, inch perfect. and the stage itself was the same in width and height. And then, at least the flow of the music might deviate, might show discrepancies, but to my despair it didn't. My last hope was the cadenza, where the double bass explores the bottom of the sonic Mariana trenches. Failure again, 0 deviations. I was put to shame and have to admit, would the LEDs on the Cayin preamp not have shown me which input was active, I would have been totally lost in that forest. Only at very high volumes, not appropriate for listening to classical music, I believed to pick up some digital glare, but I was not sure. Grudgingly and with some malicious, joyful anticipation, I went to the shelf to take out a second pair to test, a jazz recording. That's where the showdown had to happen. I'm a Fool to Want You, from the LP Midnight Sugar, recorded in 1974 in Tokyo with the Tsuyoshi Yamamoto Trio for 3 Blind Mice Records. At that time, TBM was a top label, so good that the LP was even reissued not long ago. I own the very same track on the CD, the super extended resolution sound of TBM, which actually I had bought because of Mari Nakamoto's breathtaking rendition of Georgia on My Mind. A bone-dry upright bass, a piano which climbs so high that it reaches scary vibrations, which are a challenge to most hi-fi gear, tricky rhythms with a lot of feeling and crazy dynamics, all that should set the bar high for the two monsters. But, as I said in the beginning, it was a fight to the death, and neither of them was willing to give in. So I finally turned to Indian music. Ravi Shankar, Raga Yogeshwari, but no matter what incredible sounds he elicited from his instrument to produce the most adventurous microtones, it was the same sitar which sounded from the platter and from the CD tray, and the tablas were the very same tablas played in identical manner. Much more interesting than the superficial result of this comparison are the questions it raises and the conclusions which can be drawn. And it even becomes more multi-layered when we introduce the fourth monster, which I have not yet included so far, the bonus monster, so to speak, the reward for all those who have endured this video that far. In order to make my hints more understandable, I have to reveal some background information. But don't be afraid, it won't be boring. I'll take a swing, and without further ado, I will strike. In July 22, the popular and highly competent reviewer Thomas from Thomas & Stereo compared the CS100 with a totally different turntable with the Technics SL 1200 TR, and also ended up with a draw. When two so totally different people come to the same result, it's a great thing. The problem, in my opinion, is only that the Technics has a price tag of 1,500 euros and the Acoustic Solid Royal can rip you off around 20,000 euros with tone arm and cartridge. If you can have the same sound at such a moderate price, every owner of a turntable over 1,500 euros is left with egg on his face, and all companies that produce turntables over 1,500 euros better quit, and you save 18 to 19,000 euros. But it comes even more shocking when finally we introduce the fourth monster, the Denafrips Venus II. Thomas explained that the internal DAC of the CD100 is on par with the Denafrips, which means we can save another 3,000 euros when we decide in favor of the Cayin, because we can tap the CD100 and use its DAC for free. Now you understand why I explained the rear panel with all its in and outputs in such a detailed manner. If you do as I suggested, it will be very beneficial for your safe. Now I'm going to open for you the secret archives of my hi-fi past. I have to confess that 10 years ago I carried out a similar test, but only in private and not for YouTube. That's why it never made it into the worldwide hi-fi annals and the search engines. At that time, I compared the Acoustic Solid Royal with my audio Aero Capitole and had exactly the same result. As the Capitole was almost 3 times the price of the Cayin 100, and the turntable was not yet as expensive as it is today, it did not surprise me that much to find them on par. Lining up the 3 comparisons in this video, my old one, the current one, and that of Thomas, I must concede that my understanding of what hi-fi or high-end is has been shaken or maybe even shattered. Have affordable components like this Cayin or the Technics turntable become so fantastically good? If yes, make haste, run or fly to your nearest hi-fi dealer and buy the Cayin CS 100, and just for fun, add the Technics 1200 GR to your basket. You still save 15,000 euros. But what are you going to do with all the money that you have saved?